All right, welcome everybody to the Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central. This is your host, Vashon Borich, also known as the Tough Mama. And if you've been on these before, you know that every Monday, every week, I strive to provide you with inspiration, knowledge, and tips to help lead you to success in your business. Be it an online business or an offline business, the tips that I provide can help your business grow. So welcome. I know that there was a few people I saw logging in. If you're just jumping on and watching this today live, go ahead. You'll see down below where you can log into the chat window. Log in, say hello, let me know that you're here so that I can, announce you and say hello right back to you. I'm going to check and see who's here live right now. All right, I see Bridgette's there. Good to see you, girl. I hope that you're having a wonderful morning there for you. And yeah, let me know if you also can hear me. I like to do kind of a sound check here, make sure that the visual is coming through okay, the sound, audio is coming all right. If you could give me a thumbs up, Bridgette, let me know, or write down below so that I know what's going on. All right. I don't know if you can see in the background here. These are my office mates back here. We've got Dixie's the white one, and she looks like she's taking a little nap, and so is Reba. You can barely see her down in the corner there. That's Reba. I have the pleasure of being able to work out of my home because I have an online business as well as an offline business. I also run a martial arts studio, and I do that twice a week along with my husband. We both are martial arts instructors. But I tell you what, my online business is what's given me the freedom, the financial freedom, the time freedom to do more of the things that I love. And that's why I'm here in my home office with my beautiful pups here. Kids are off at school. Husband is retired, and he's out working in his wood shop. That's what he likes to do during the day. So it's really been nice, and I would not have the opportunities that I do if it wasn't for building an online business and having some great mentors that showed me some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you today. So I'm going to be sharing a presentation I put together that's going to walk through these 8 steps. If you didn't get my email or see my post earlier, I'm going to share with you 8 millionaire methods to creating success in any business. So I'm really looking forward to sharing these with you because these are things that can really help you to grow your own business. Oh, hey, I just saw that Gabriella jumped on. Good to see you. So glad you're here. So yeah, also, where'd my phone go? I am not going to be looking at the chat window. I will periodically, but if there's any problem with sound or something going on, send me a message via text on Facebook Messenger, and that'll pop up over here next to me, and I'll see that so that I know that I need to do a sound check. I appreciate your help. All right, well, let's get going. I'm going to flip my screen around so that you can see what I've put together for you today. All right. Okay, great. So I'll give it just a moment here. Make sure you can see my screen, but you should see my Team Tough logo and 8 millionaire methods to creating success in any business. Okay. So the purpose of these, like I mentioned earlier, is to really help you to grow your business and your life. I like to give you inspiration. I like to give you tips and tools so that you can do that. And so I really appreciate feedback. These are interactive. So as you're watching this, if you have questions or things pop up, or maybe you have a tip that you'd like to share, feel free to type that in the chat window. I do look at those. I will look at it periodically as we're going through the presentation today. So don't feel you're being ignored. I will check those. And if you are one of the folks that watches this as a recording because maybe you couldn't jump on live at 1:30, then still type something in the chat window. I do see those. They do come through. I get an email when somebody types something there. And I would love to be able to answer your questions and reach out to you personally. So let's get started. I'm going to start us off today with a quote. And I don't know who this is attributed to, but it always has been a strong one for me. I have it in my journal of quotes, and that is, success is what happens when you are consistently taking positive action. And it's so true. Every mentor that I've had, they say success leaves clues. Well, I have not met one person that is financially successful or even a millionaire or even just successful with having the time freedom that they'd like in their life. Not one of those people that they had to over. So if you're having challenges in your life or you're trying to overcome obstacles, realize that that's all part of the journey, and don't let it stop you from taking consistent positive action. And there's a difference between negative action and positive action. Positive action is moving you forward. You're constantly learning. You may fail in some of your things, but you're constantly learning or failing forward and taking the next step so that you get to a goal that you have in your mind. So we're going to talk more about that today, but I wanted to share this quote because success is not this elusive thing that some people are just born with and it's their fate that they're going to be successful. Success is built. Anyone can have success. Anyone. So don't think that you're just not a special one. If you're not having the level of desire, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Okay? I promise you, there's nothing wrong with you. Don't compare yourself to other people on the journey. Everybody has a different journey. You don't know what kind of things that they've had to go through in order to achieve whatever it is they're achieving today, right? And people, it doesn't matter if they were born into a wealthy family or they were born into an impoverished family. That doesn't matter. You can have success no matter your walk of life, no matter your health, no matter your age, no matter what country you live in. Anything that's ever happened to you is a stepping stone to building your life and building a successful life. I truly believe that, and time again, that belief has been proven by really amazing people that I've met in my journey who have overcome things that I just couldn't even imagine. Okay, so never believe that there's something wrong with you, because there's not. You're here for a reason. You're listening to me for a reason, and you are going to learn something today. At least that's my hope for you. You're going to learn something and take something today that you needed to hear. So don't ever feel like you're in the wrong place, you're doing the wrong thing. You are in the right place at the right time, and I'm so glad to have you here. So you're taking positive action right now. All right, let's start with our very first tip. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this one here. You're going to notice that there is a keyword throughout my presentation today, and that is persistence. Persistence seems to be the overall theme that I have heard from every mentor, every positive self-development book that I've read, every workshop, conference, etc. that I've attended. Persistence is the key. And I think you'll see that throughout. And now we're going to break it down into steps, actionable steps that you can take in order to be persistent and achieve the level of success that you desire. All right. So now the very first thing that anyone who's ever become successful will tell you they had to do was have a definite purpose. You have to decide before you ever begin a task, be it starting a business, be it moving into a new home, getting physically fit, getting healthy from an illness. You have to have a definite purpose. And what does that mean exactly? It means knowing exactly what you want. What is the main thing you want to achieve? And what I recommend that you do, and this is what I've done, and this is what many people who have been successful have done, is they make a vision board, a book, or a journal about it. And then they visualize what they want. So let's say you wanted to move into this new home, or move to a new country, or travel more, or be physically fit, or have an amazing business that gives you, more income and more opportunity and helps others. Make a vision board about it. And I do want to show you mine here in just a moment so that you can kind of get an idea as to what that's all about. But this will help you to start planning out, how to achieve that. You can't achieve anything until you know exactly what you want. And then here's the other tip before I show you my own vision board, is narrow it down to the core reason why you want it. So, what does that object give you that you don't already have now? So I'll give you an example, and the reason that I brought this up is I had a student who they really wanted this fancy Lamborghini car. I mean, that's what they always had wanted, and that was the reason that they wanted to start their online business. And the money is really never the reason for having a business. Did you know that? Money is never the reason. The material goods are never the reason. So I asked this student of mine, I said, well, why do you want this Lamborghini? And he said, well, he says it's a really cool car. It goes super fast. It's a beautiful car, and it's just something I've always wanted. And I said, no. I said, you're going to have to give me more. When's the first time that you realized you wanted it, and why? And all of a sudden he thought back, and he said, well, my family was really, really poor, and I remember going to some event downtown. He grew up in Chicago, and he said that there was a businessman who drove up in a Lamborghini, and he was with his dad at the time. He was a child, and he saw this Lamborghini, and his dad really liked it as well. And they were looking at this, and they said, wow, what an amazing car. And his dad said, he says, it's only the successful who can afford these amazing cars. And so from that moment, it really was a symbol. And so my students said to me, the reason they wanted the Lamborghini, because it symbolized that he had achieved success in his life. And it symbolized, being able to achieve something that his father couldn't achieve. And he wanted, to have that to show to his father that he could be just as successful as this businessman that they saw many, many years ago. And so once he narrowed down the core reasons why he wanted that, it really helped him to crystallize why he wanted something, because the material goods are really just symbols. And so you have to dig deep and realize, what is the core reason behind it? Does it symbolize a connection that you wish you had with somebody else? Does it symbolize, achieving something for your family that you've always wanted to do with your family, to have a closer family, for example? So think about that, and only you know what those reasons are. But once you know what you want, you're going to have a much better way of getting there. And we're going to go into that, but that's your definite purpose. So I promised you I'd show you my vision board. I'm going to grab it real quick, and then I'll flip my screen around. All right, I've got it. Mine's a pretty big board, so I'm going to flip my screen around, and then I'll hold it up. I made this vision board about 6 months ago, and stuff that's on it has already started to happen. So let me switch this around. I've got it here next to me. All right, I'm going to hold it up. Hopefully you'll be able to see all of it. So it's pretty good size, as you can see. So this is my vision board, and everybody's vision board is different. And I just went 6 months ago, and I got some magazines. And I cut out of the magazines things that kind of symbolize what I wanted to achieve. And so, I've got fitness here. I'm really into fitness through my martial arts. I've got, I want to be able to age gracefully. I'm a firm believer in, keeping your body physically fit, so that even when I'm an old woman, that I'll have the ability to do a lot of the things that I love to do. I don't know if you can see over here, I've got travel, different images. It's kind of hard because they're dark, but I've got some travel images. Some of these are very material looking, but in reality, they all have a symbol to me. Like I really, my husband and I have a close relationship, and I want to keep our relationship close. So I found this picture of us, holding hands, and well, it symbolizes us holding hands, and then having a close relationship with my children. I have 2 sons, And this symbolizes having that relationship and being able to travel and do things as a family together. And there's a bunch of other stuff here, but what I challenge you to do, and in showing you my vision board, is to really get clear on what you want. And if you create a vision board like mine, I keep it in my office over here. You probably can, my office is a disaster right now because I've been working on some projects, or I'd show you the whole thing. But I have an area next to my desk where I set it up on this sideboard so that I see it from the moment I walk into my office. Is one of the first things that I look at. And I visualize those things coming into my life. And because of that, it starts my day off in a positive way. And it reminds me of my purpose and why I do what I do and the direction that I want to take my life every day. Okay, so I hope that inspires you. I will tell you, the person who taught me how to do these vision boards, they said try to find like a focal point in the middle. Like I'll show mine again. I don't know if you can see, but in the very middle of mine, there's a focal point, and it's this sunset. Okay, and you'll see it's actually a woman overlooking the Grand Canyon, which is one of the most beautiful places that I've been to, and I'd like to return. Is looking over at this sunrise. I guess it would be more than a sunset. And so they say try to make your vision board look three-dimensional, so that when you look at it, it looks like things are popping out at you. And so I chose to find like a really nice background image that I put there so it looks more three-dimensional. And that'll help if you're building your own vision board so that it really pops out at you and it makes it more realistic. Okay, and I know you're thinking, well, how is this going to help me achieve my goals? Well, this is what every millionaire I've talked to does. They either do it on a board like I did, or they put it together in a journal or a notebook. They'll even put pictures in there. And everyone that I've talked to that's achieved a level of success that I desire has done this in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm a firm believer in following what the successful people do. And I hope you are too. Because if you don't have a vision board, this could be something that really helps you to stay focused on your definitive purpose. Okay, so I'm going to flip my screen back around again, but let me just check, see how you guys are doing. Oh, thanks Brigitte, thanks Gabriella. Yes, it really does make a difference. And Gabriella, I'm so glad that you have a vision board. I'd love to see yours sometime too, whenever you get a chance, or if you're open to doing that. Yeah, great. So let me flip this back around. Here it comes. Okay, so we talked about the first one. We're going to go on now to the second one. Okay, these are 8 millionaire methods to create a success in any business. The second one is desire. So it's one thing to know what you want. It's another thing to have this burning feeling or intensity inside of you that prevents you from wavering away from your goal. I mean, it's almost like, oops, I backed up too fast. It's almost like you desire it like oxygen. You need it so badly that it's like breathing. It's like oxygen. That's when you know you've stumbled upon your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through all of these challenges and building your own business and building the life that you want? Well, you're doing it because you have a burning desire to achieve something. Maybe you have children. Maybe part of your burning desire is to give your children a better life. Maybe you have a spouse that has worked so hard for you, and now you want to give back to them and create a lifestyle for them. Maybe you have this burning desire to help others. Maybe you want to build a school for children in Africa or something like that. Whatever that is that makes you almost want to cry because it's so powerful, that's your burning desire. And you need to write this down and focus on that desire, because that's what's going to keep you motivated to persist even when the going gets tough. Okay? So have that desire there. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. And these are all things that every millionaire that I've spoken to has, or they're doing in their life. The third is having self-reliance. So what does that mean? That means that you believe in yourself. You believe in your ability to follow through on the plan. You cannot achieve anything unless you have belief. Belief that you can fly. I've seen this quote a few times, and it had to do with a little bird. It's like one of those image quotes. It was a little bird sitting on a branch, and it said that the little bird doesn't worry about the branch breaking because it knows it has wings and it can fly. Well, it's the same thing with you in your life, in your own business. You have to have enough belief, self-reliance in yourself to realize that no matter what happens, you are strong enough to fly. I think we become so caught up in believing what you might have been taught in school, that you have to work for somebody else, that you have to follow the 40-year plan, as they say. You work for 40 years and you retire, and then you've got the next 5 to 10 years to actually do what you want to do. I don't believe in that concept. Okay, I don't believe that that is why we were meant to be here. That's not my plan. I have self-reliance that whatever it is I want to achieve, I can do it. Even if the branch breaks, even if financially I hit rock bottom one day, I know that I can pull myself out. I believe in my skills and in my internal fortitude and my focus, and definitely in my purpose in life. So that is what that means. This is also not being solely dependent on someone or something else to achieve your desire. I think a lot of times we use others or even other things as excuses for why we aren't achieving the life we want. So self-reliance means taking full responsibility for your own actions. Don't blame your parents for not leaving you a big inheritance or something so that you could start a business. Don't blame your children, because a lot of times as moms, as females, we sometimes blame our children, saying, I have to raise them. I don't have enough time to build a business. I don't have enough time to do the things I want to do, or the money to do the things I want to do, because I have to raise kids. Kids are wonderful. I have 2 of them, and I don't use them as an excuse for things that I don't think I can afford. I believe that we can do anything we set our minds to, and I teach my sons that too. It may take some creativity sometimes, when you're on a little bit of a budget, especially with feeding a family of 4. But I can tell you that never have I gone back and said, well, I can't do this because of this situation. So really focus it on looking at your life and saying, you know what? I take full responsibility in my success, and no one can prevent me from achieving what I want to achieve. And once you do that, you're going to feel like bricks released from your shoulders. I know how I did, especially when I left corporate America. It was like this brick wall just lifted off my shoulder, and I realized I was not pinned down by anyone, that I had the ability to turn my life into whatever I wanted to turn it into. Okay, I hope this helps. Okay, you guys still with me? All right. Okay, we're going to number 4. So after you have self-reliance, the next step or tip is to have definite plans. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means to get organized. So you have a purpose. We all have a purpose. You have goals and dreams and visions, in your vision board. So get organized and figure out, what can you do in order to achieve that? Even if it's impractical, start making plans that you will start following step by step by step. It may seem like it's going to take a lifetime, but the reality is, when you start making plans to achieve your goals, some things just start falling in place automatically. It's almost as if God or the universe or whatever you believe in steps in and starts opening up opportunities for you, because you're headed in a direction now. So start doing that. And then here's the thing. Plans always change as you march towards a goal. All right. You may have, and I don't know about you, but I'm a planner. I love to make lists. I love to put things on the calendar and plan out exactly how I'm going to achieve things, but they always change. Something comes up, and I mean, I'm very consistent. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. But sometimes I don't always get to the end result the way that I thought it was going to get there. It's like traveling on a road trip. Anybody like to go on road trips? Yeah, so like I'll have this plan on how I'm going to get there. Like I'll pull up Google Maps, and lo and behold, I'm going down the road, and then all of a sudden I miss a turn, and now I'm on a different route. But I'm still going the same direction, and many times that other route that I end up on is more scenic, or I stumble across something that I would have never had an opportunity to see or be or do because I went off of the path from what my original plan was. Okay, so you have to be flexible. And here's what I do is I ask myself, what's the next best thing I can do to move closer to my goal? What's the next best thing I can do to move closer to my goal? And you know what's really cool? I read an article about Oprah, Oprah Winfrey, and amazing billionaire, and I mean, just the media maven. And she had said that that was how she got to where she is today. Is she every day, she asks herself, what's the next best thing that she can do to move closer to her goal? And that's what she does next. And it could be as simple as picking up a pencil and writing stuff down, or picking up the phone and calling a mentor, or calling some office to get some paperwork done. The next best thing doesn't have to be this massive step. It could be a small step, but that's all it takes to move the dial towards your plans. All right, number 5 is accurate knowledge. No matter what business you're in, you have to have some knowledge of the business that you're going into. By accurate knowledge, this means refining your plan based upon experience or observation. And by having this knowledge on where you're going and how to get there, it encourages you to be persistent because you know what you need to do next based on that. So just a little bit more, any business that you're in, you don't want to guess on what works or just choose to do it your own way. Anyone who's been successful, they took something that I call a shortcut, and that is they get a mentor, or they go through a course, a training course. They take the next necessary steps in order to learn what they need to know to be successful, rather than just trying to figure it out by themselves. So this is one way to know the right course of action. By seeking that counsel from a mentor or qualified resource, you can jumpstart your plan many years into the future just by having a good mentor. And I can tell you personally, before I had a mentor, I was stuck. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew what I wanted, but I had no idea how to get there, and I didn't know which course of action was going to get me there. And so I started searching for mentors that could teach me how to build an online business, how to get leads, how to manage all of that, what tools to use. And I would not have known that had I not found mentors that were really good at that and already successful in that area. And they walked me through it, or I took their course and they showed me how to do that. So now I had an accurate, knowledgeable plan on how to achieve what I wanted to achieve. This is a huge step, and everybody that I've spoken to that is a multimillionaire, this is how they grew their business, is by seeking counsel from those people that are more knowledgeable than they are, so that they could get their business moving much, much more quickly. All right, I'm going to check you on you guys, see how you're doing. All right, Bridget, thanks for the comment. I'm glad that you're getting some help out of it. All right, keep going. Oh yeah, number 6 is cooperation. Cooperation. So this means basically showing compassion and harmonious cooperation with others. This will help lead you to success. And what it really boils down to is realizing that you can't do everything on your own. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that new owners, business owners make, is that they try to do everything on their own to try to cut corners, and they don't want to hire anybody. They don't want to consult. They don't want to hire a mentor. They want to save money. But in doing that, it restricts your growth. So you have to be willing to cooperate. And this is one of the things that I had to really work on, because I tend to be one of those people that I just like to figure stuff out. But I've learned that in me trying to do everything and learning how to do it on my own, it slowed down the process. So as I've gotten older and hopefully wiser in the process, I've learned to use people like virtual assistants or consultants to help me with parts of my business that I don't enjoy doing, or I don't want to spend a lot of my time doing, because I can pay somebody less than my hourly wage in order to do it. So I actually built a virtual assistant team that works for me, and we actually do work for a number of companies where we manage their Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, and other social media, so that they have more time to do what they love to do. So it's been good cooperating with others. And I can encourage you too that look at all the things that you need to do for your business. Make a list of the necessary items you need to do daily in your business. And then circle the ones that you just do not like to do. All right? Circle those things and then start brainstorming. How could you get those things done without you having to do it? Like, I'll give you an example too. For me, I do not like to do all the accounting and paperwork. I don't like to do that. I'm much better at the creative side of the business, rather than the pencil pushing, as I call it. So I actually hired an accountant to manage all of my accounting. So think about that when you're making your list on who can you cooperate with that can help take your business to the next level. And one more tip, because this has really been huge for me in cooperating with more people, is think about others that you've met in your business or other businesses who are better at something than you are, and see if you can work out a trade. So you don't necessarily have to have a bunch of extra money to cooperate with others. You can work out a trade. Maybe you're really good at social media and they're really good at accounting. So maybe you can manage their social media and they can do the accounting for you. All right, I'm just giving you an example. But and that's the other part of it, is in cooperating, make sure that you start networking. Join groups, either online groups or in-person groups, where you can meet people from all walks of life and start asking questions. What are they good at? What do they do? What type of businesses are they in? How do they grow their business? Where do they advertise? How do they get leads? And find out who's doing it really well, and then keep them in mind when you're stuck. Don't know people to adjust. All right, number 7, willpower. Yeah, willpower. So this is the habit of concentrating one's thoughts upon the plans for achieving your goal. Okay, that's the willpower. So it's habits. It's creating habits. This means not thinking about failure too. So a lot of times when we have a very strong endeavor or purpose that we have in our life, we get shot down by those that love us the most. Your spouse, your family members. They start, or your best friends, they start telling you that they don't think you can achieve it. And you may start to believe it, that you're crazy. They may even tell you you're crazy for doing what you're doing. This is where willpower comes into place. And anyone who's ever succeeded in creating something amazing, what they want, and they're going towards it, even if everybody thinks they're completely nuts. And honestly, you got to be a little nuts to achieve some of the things that we do as entrepreneurs. And that's what makes it so fun. But it also is hard if you don't have the habit of concentrating on what you want. So I want to give you a tip that really helped me, and that's replacing any negative thoughts. Instead of saying, man, I don't have the money to do what I want to do, I don't have the money to advertise. It's easy to say that. It's easy to think negatively. But what I would recommend you do is think about, how can I? So replace any negative thought with, how can I? And when you start saying that, your mind goes into creativity mode, and you're suddenly able to find solutions where you didn't think there was any. So anytime somebody tells you you can't do that, or you don't have the knowledge or expertise or income level or financial resources, or on and on and on, to do what you want to do, start thinking out loud even, how can I do this? And I guarantee you, if you really sit down with a pen and paper and start writing down all the different achieve what you want to achieve, you will surprise yourself. You'll start coming up with solutions that you didn't even think about. And that's what I had to do, and I still continue to do that in different aspects of my business. I have huge dreams and huge goals for what I'd like to accomplish, and many times I'm stuck. I don't know, how to go past a certain obstacle until I sit down and make a list of, how can I? How can I do this? What are some other alternatives? Is there another way around this? Is there someone I can call? Is there a resource I can reach out to? These are the ways that you develop willpower. All right? You guys still there? All right, you are. That's good. All right, we're going to keep going here. All right, so the next thing is number 8, and this is our last one, and this is developing a habit. So a habit is repetitive daily action. Okay, that's how you create a habit. And then the repetitive action that you're taking, you should be feeding yourself with positive information and positive actions every day. That's how you build habits. And I'll tell you what the very worst obstacle is in any entrepreneur's life is fear. That's the worst of all enemies. But it can be cured. Fear can be cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. So if you continue to take risks, positive risks, and give yourself positive resources such as self-help books, or self-development, self-improvement books, or audios, or listening to positive things on YouTube. Like I do that a lot of times at night. I'll put on a YouTube video either on meditation or positive habits, and I'll listen to that for about 15 minutes before I go to bed. And what that does is it feeds my brain with something positive as I'm falling asleep. So then when I wake up, I'm already in a better place than I might have been the night before. Okay? And the fear is, have you heard of this before? Fear means false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is, false evidence appearing real. So if you can think about anything that you fear, maybe you fear losing your house if you don't make enough money. Maybe you fear embarrassment if your business isn't a success. Maybe you fear that your husband or your wife won't support you in in your business. Whatever it is, it's false evidence. Talk it out. Talk it out with those closest to you, and believe in yourself, and take positive actions every single day. And through that repetition, you're going to start seeing results in your business. They may be small at first. You may just start getting a lead, once a week. Then you might start getting leads daily. Then you might start getting sales once a week. And then you might start seeing sales come in daily. But it all starts with that habit of taking repetitive daily action towards your goals. And this is how every business owner starts building a successful business, is by having positive habits. So I want to leave you with a quote that I just love. I have this up on my desk on my bulletin board next to me. And this is a quote from Calvin Coolidge. If you haven't heard it before, I'll read it here to you. And that is, nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Education will not. The world is full of educated failures. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. So, I mean, I just so often not educated. And the reality of it all is, if you look at some of the wealthiest and most successful and happiest individuals in the world, all they did was they persisted when others would not. And that's the key, my friend, to having success. So I'm going to flip my screen around as we close up here. There we are. So I hope that you got a lot of value from today. And I want to give you a little tip. So one of the places that I get a lot of my knowledge is from books. I am a firm believer in reading. Readers are leaders. And I want to show you a book that I've had literally for years. It's falling apart. It's so old. You guys seen this book? Think and Grow Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill. Yeah, this book, it's like the pages are even like coming out. I mean, like whole pages. It's very old. It's all yellowed. And this version, I think it used to be my mother's, and she gave it to me when I was like a teenager. And I've kept it, and I know there are much better copies out there. I mean, this one, some of the stuff that's in it, this is like one of the original versions. Some of the stuff that's in it is kind of outdated. But I tell you, this is one book that has changed my life. It has such positive information in there. And the stuff that I pulled for you today comes from millionaires that were interviewed in the making of this book. And it all comes down to persistence. And there's a whole chapter in here on persistence and how everyone that's ever achieved anything great in their life had that one commonality, and that's persisting no matter what. So I hope this inspires you. I hope that it gives you some things to chew on in your mind, especially if you're missing some of those eight items that I went through today. Because if you are, now's the time to write those down, go back, and start creating daily habits that are going to help get you to your goal. And don't compare yourself to others. I know some people are, they might get there more quickly. Don't worry about that. Know that the farther that arrow gets pulled back, the farther you're going to fly. So I kind of get excited when I know it's taking me longer to achieve something of purpose, because that means how much greater is it going to be when that arrow is released? After I've been pulled back because I'm working on so many things on the back end, once that arrow is released, it's going to fly far further than anyone who's having immediate success with something. So I want to see if there's any other questions out there before we close for the day. All right. Oh, Gabriella, thank you for your compliments. I really appreciate you. And you are such a positive light on these. So are you, Brigitte. Love you both. I'm glad you guys could be here live. So we're going to go ahead and end today. If you have questions, feel free to send me a message on Facebook. Hope you have a great rest of the week. And we will see you next week for our Down and Dirty at 1:30. Take care.